This is Kurt Warner, and you're watching Bring the Pain Sports.
Hey folks, and we're back. Mitchell Brock with Bring the Pain Sports Talk, still here at Radio Row here at Super Bowl 56, LA Convention Center, and I'm back with the Great Sports Morpheus and the crew. We have another special guest here. We have Mr. Erik Kramer. Erik, how you doing today, my man?
Fantastic. Thanks for having me out.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, everybody who knows me knows who my squad is, right? And the big joke against us is always the Lions have not won a playoff game since 1991, right? This gentleman was our quarterback during that game. We're not going to talk about what happened in the conference championship game. We'll definitely talk about what happened in the divisional championship game.
All right. Fair enough.
Talk to me a little bit, Erik, about your journey to the NFL.
Well, starting with in 1987, I was an undrafted free agent with the Saints, and went through their off season. Within 2 or 3 weeks, I knew I was getting cut from that place, and they had Bobby Hebert and back then Dave Wilson, so in any event, I got cut, went back to school, and then I was kind of going to finish up my degree. Figured I'd go into coaching, so I was helping out Coach Sheridan, coaching the football team, doing what I could. And then the 87 strike happened. And so I got called by a few teams, and literally I figured this thing, no one knew how long it would last. Right. Nobody thought it was going to go beyond a game or two, if that. Right. And so I went to Atlanta simply because they paid more money than anyone else, which at that time was $100,000. Back then. Which would have been like, what, $6,000 a week or something. Right. So anyway, as it turned out, we ended up beating the Rams when they had kind of their whole team back. And so they kept me after that. Didn't play anymore, but then got cut the next year, went up to Canada, and because their coach had worked me out when I was coming out, Larry Kramer, I think's passed away now. So I go up and play in their last 5 or 6 games, come back the next year, and I wasn't very good to begin with up there, but then came back the next year. We had an inter-squad scrimmage, hadn't had a preseason game, and 3 or 4 plays into it, I tore my PCL, so it was done for the year. So I basically called my way around, and the Lions, a guy named Joe Bashofsky, was the only guy to call me back. Yep. And so eventually I got flown out for what I thought was going to be a workout, and I'm sitting in the lobby, and they had me come back to sit in Mouse Davis's office, who was office coordinator. He went in there, and he comes walking in, he goes, "Who are you?" So we talked for a minute, great guy, and he said, "You know what?" Because at the time, that was at the Silverdome, and the turf wasn't up, or was up. They were doing something else with it, and no receivers were in town. And so he comes back and he goes, "Hey, just so we don't put you on a plane back without working out, how about if we get in my car, you and June Jones was the receiver coach." He goes, "We'll go down to Ann Arbor. They got an indoor facility. You drop back and throw some routes to June." That was my workout. And guess who was hitting in the batting cage in the end zone area? You're wearing a Detroit Tigers hat, so... Alan Trammell. Oh, Trammell. So that was my little workout, and I go home. And then somewhere along the way, I guess it's Chuck Schmidt was kind of the de facto GM or something. And so he called me and said, "Okay, here's your deal." Like, there was no negotiation to it. I think it was a couple $100,000 for 2 years. And then, And so, anyway, it worked out well. And so, I was there 4 years, and that led to me eventually going to Chicago. But we had some good times in Detroit while I was there, too.
Yeah, I wasn't going to bring that up, man. Go to Chicago after us. But,
right.
So, okay, going into that 91 season, of course, Rodney Peete was the starter.
Yeah.
Rodney tears his Achilles.
Yep.
And you're thrust in the action.
Yeah.
You're thrust in the action, and you were clearly ready, right? So what was the feeling when you knew it was your time to go? That's what you've been working for. How'd you feel?
I felt ready, like you said. In fact, I hate to bring this up to the other guys sitting here, but that game happened against Dallas during the regular season. Yep. So we actually beat them twice that year.
Right. That's the first game that
but-
Emmitt Smith missed the plane. Was that the game Emmitt Smith missed the plane? Or something like that?
I'm not-
Somebody missed the plane or something.
I don't remember anybody not being there, but anyway, the point was that, yeah, we got off to a good start, but then we lost a couple. And then we then got back right on track. But unfortunately that year, against the Rams, Mike Utley, who 30 years later is still in a wheelchair.
I met Mike. We met Mike in Phoenix at the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Solid guy, man.
He's one of the best people I've ever met. He's no different today than when he was than before.
Yeah, and I was there. The 91 season, I went to literally every home game.
Yeah.
And even the playoff game. And I was there. I've never heard the Silverdome that quiet than when Mike didn't get up.
Right.
Of course, the thumbs up thing went
Right.
through and-
And it's a sad thing to point out that he was such a big part of that season even afterward.
Right.
But and then unfortunately later that off season, Eric Andersek died. And, yeah, and so that team got hit by a bunch.
And then Toby Castone as well.
Eventually, correct. But just that team itself, that's the most talented team I've ever been on. Like, not even close. And I think that's in large part due to Kevin Colbert, who really, he was the personnel guy that he and Ron Hughes, who I guess has now passed away. But, Kevin obviously continued doing what he started in Detroit on up in Pittsburgh.
Got more rings.
Yeah.
Right. So we've talked some football. Now let's talk about, you've got some mental health initiatives.
Yeah.
About
There's one in particular that I'm really happy and excited to see get going, and it's going to be a piloted program. There's 2 or 3 other people involved with it at this stage that are going to continue. And what it is we're going to go into probably locate one of these Boys and Girls Club after-school programs and get like 4th and 5th grade age kids, a group of them, and start basically in on starting to identify and help them identify for themselves what some good personal human characteristics are. Basic stuff, age-appropriate stuff, telling the truth, having someone's back, being a good, empathetic, active listener. Things that equate to sort of age-appropriate things that people can identify. That eventually you'll start to build once you identify those traits in yourself and other people, could be a fellow student, could be a dad, could be a mom, could be a coach. And you start to recruit a little home team for yourself that you then grow and mature with as you go up through all the levels of high school, middle school and high school. Then when you're 18-ish, that's who you are, since you've been 9. That way, when now you get to 20s and 30s and 40s and the challenges you face go up and out, that's who you are. That's the team you got. And so and then I think along the way, we're going to incorporate parents and siblings and the family aspect of it as well, and see where that goes.
So if I'm not mistaken, you are coaching high school football now.
Yeah,
And
just
you're a
as
California guy, right?
yeah. So I'm not too far from here, and at Camarillo High School, which is about, I live in Agoura Hills, so Tamarillo is about maybe 15 minutes away, and they asked me to come coach quarterbacks, and so it's kind of a dance that I'm doing, not to step on the wrong mine in the minefield. So trying to have them teach me what they already do, and then along the way, maybe I can help them achieve some of that.
Okay. Do you guys have a website or you got social media you want to plug?
Well, I can't just yet.
Okay.
But this is the best I can do right now. But we're gonna have it. We'll have it soon.
Okay. Well, Eric, we definitely appreciate your time.
I appreciate
know you got other
that.
interviews to do. So this is Mitchell Brock.
Of course.
From Sports. We'll take a brief break and we'll be right back.
Something just blinded me a minute ago. Let me see this thing.